It's time for The Verdict. The Verdict is a lively discussion of current events and legal issues pertinent to Oklahomans. The Verdict is hosted by Kent Myers and Mick Cornett. The Verdict is brought to you in part by Betcher, Martin, Jean, and Jackson, when hurt people need help. Betcher, Martin, Jean, and Jackson in Ponca City. It's time for The Verdict.
And welcome to The Verdict. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mick Cornett. We're glad you're with us. Kent Myers is my co-host. Kent is one of Oklahoma's top legal experts, and we got another U.S. Senate candidate in today.
We do. Bob Anthony is running hard and running effectively from all information I can get. We are in mid-June, and the Senate race is heating up. We're starting to see television commercials from Commissioner Anthony. And we have already seen commercials from other candidates, but they're out running hard, working hard. And this will be Bob Anthony's first appearance with us here on The Verdict, and I think he has a lot to tell our viewers, as have the other candidates. So this will be a good chance for you to sit back and relax and listen and hear from Bob Anthony and see what he has to say and see what he intends to offer the citizens of the state of Oklahoma. To the extent we haven't yet completed the field on Senate candidates, we intend to. But so far we've had Kirk Humphreys, Brad Carson, Tom Coburn, and now we're adding Bob Anthony to our list of candidates who've appeared here. And I hope our viewers, when we get finished with this series, will have a really good idea about who they ought to go to the polls and vote for.
Bob Anthony, candidate for the United States Senate, next on The Verdict.
American Express Tax and Business Services. We're accountants. We do taxes, business valuations, estate planning, and consulting. And we're right here in Oklahoma, working with the owners of small and medium-sized businesses. Steve Wilsey and Stuart Meyer have the resources and the experience. American Express Tax and Business Services. In Oklahoma City, the phone number is 405-843-5311.
Hi, I'm Don Staley. Maybe you've seen me on the Weather Channel, the national news, or the local news. I survived in this unsafe room during a direct hit from a super twister on May 8, 2003. Tornadoes are capable of dropping all types of vehicles from high altitude. Rochester Institute of Technology has performed the most extreme testing on the all-safe room to ensure your safety. Our new handicapped safe room has been praised by consumers that have purchased them. The handicapped safe room accommodates the elderly, physically impaired, people who require a wheelchair, or more room for a larger family. The all-safe room has an 18-inch ceiling, 8-inch walls, and a 12-inch footer and base that is poured all at once, meaning no seams or joints. The average weight of an Oz safe room is an impressive 20 tons. We are rated the safest tornado shelter in the world by one of the best concrete structural design engineers in the world. Call me, Don Staley, at 314-2552 or 1-800-420-6344.
Coming up Monday on Hello Oklahoma, we're going to kick off Music Week on the show. Every day we'll feature a musical guest from Oklahoma.
And hearing loss can affect a person's daily life. Find out what the main causes of this are and what you can do to prevent hearing loss in the future.
And we'll speak with the author of Radical Problems, Radical Solutions.
And meteorologist Brady Bruce will join us with all the weather details.
Be sure to watch Hello Oklahoma weekday morning 6:30 to 8 right here on KSBI.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers, who's going to introduce our guest.
We are very pleased today to have Commissioner Bob Anthony, a member of the Oklahoma Corporation Commission, on, and he's also a Republican candidate for the United States Senate. Bob has a vote-getter distinction that no other Oklahoman has. He garnered 771,000 votes in Oklahoma in the November 2000 election, and that is more votes than any Democrat or Republican has ever gotten from the state of Oklahoma. Quite a distinction. Bob is a native Oklahoman. He has obtained degrees from the Wharton School of Finance at the University of Pennsylvania, the London School of Economics, Yale University, Harvard University. Well educated, obviously. He's a former president of C.R. Anthony Company, former Oklahoma City Councilman Mick out of Ward 2. He has served 16 years as a Republican on the Oklahoma Corporation Commission. He's married, has 4 daughters, and we are pleased to have him join us for the first time on The Verdict. Bob, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're glad to have you.
Absolutely.
Bob, I guess the big national story is the war in Iraq. Where do you stand on that?
Well, I don't think the war in Iraq is about the war in Iraq. It's about the Middle East. If we're going to have peace in Israel and Palestine and the entire Middle East, then we can't have terrorists aggravating and destabilizing the whole region. We need peace and democracy, and I think that it's entirely appropriate for us to intervene like we did in order to help stabilize the entire region. As long as Saddam Hussein was paying people to be suicide bombers and to go over there and destabilize the whole region, it wasn't going to be helpful. And for many decades, America has considered the Middle East to be in our national security interest.
16 years on the Oklahoma Corporation Commission. Why have you decided to run for Senate?
Well, I was a little surprised that Don Nichols announced that he was going to retire. Some folks in the Republican Party, the insiders, tried to pick who the next guy would be. I had folks in the party ask me if I would participate because they didn't think that a former mayor of Oklahoma City was going to get elected statewide. Modestly, I would say that I'm the best qualified candidate. And for those who are voting in the Republican primary on July 27th, I think I'm the only one who can win. I've run statewide 3 times. As Kent said in the introduction, in November 2000, I got more votes than any Democrat or Republican who's ever run for state office in the history of the state. This is an election not only important to the future of Oklahoma, but to the nation and the majority control in the United States Senate. I think that I have the experience statewide. My family operated clothing stores virtually all over the state for more than half a century. I'm the only person in this race who can say that I am an elected official that represents everybody in the state right now and has done that for 15 years. A lot of people in the race are from a small part of the state, and they're out there trying to say that they could represent everybody. I'm not sure that folks in Oklahoma think we have time for on-the-job training. I also think that the biggest reason I'm running for the race is because I want to work for the future and opportunity for our children and grandchildren. Let me just say, too, and it's a way of talking about myself, most people know that C.R. Anthony was my grandfather. He came from Middle Tennessee at age 12 as an orphan into Indian Territory. He failed in business twice and then started the C.R. Anthony chain of stores. On my mother's side of the family, my great-grandfather and his brother were Methodist circuit rider preachers that came in from North Texas into Indian Territory. And they had nothing except what was in their saddlebags and their faith in the Lord. So you can see that I'm like so many other people in Oklahoma. I've had a wonderful life and a wonderful family heritage. My family has enjoyed the benefits of the American dream right here in Oklahoma. They've had opportunity. And I think this U.S. Senate race is all about our children and our grandchildren. And are they going to have this same type of opportunity going forward?
Bob, let me change the subject just a little bit to some of your prior experience. I know you had an experience as an elected official that I'm sure was in part interesting and in part testing when you worked undercover, in essence, for the FBI in an investigation of attempted bribery matters out at the Corporation Commission. Can you describe that experience for our viewers? What was it like doing that, and do you regret you did it? Are you glad you did it? How do you feel about it?
Well, it's an important topic. I don't think whether I regret it or not is really the right question. When people stand for election and they take on the public trust, you know, when I got sworn into office, my wife held the Bible, my children were there looking up at me, and I swore an oath to do my duty. being a corporation commissioner is a constitutional responsibility. It says what your job is in the Constitution. It says we're supposed to correct the abuses of regulated companies, for example, and support, obey, and defend the Constitution. When I got there, utility lawyers, utility lobbyists, or utility executives were coming into the commissioner's office and counting out thousands of dollars in $100 bills and asking something for it. That's called bribery. It was an intolerable situation of corruption. So the question isn't, did I regret having helped the FBI to investigate and to capture the information? Yes, there were 200 recorded conversations made with FBI recording equipment in my office that I started the recorder going. The question is this: did I do my duty? I should have corrected the abuse of those regulated companies because that was my constitutional duty. There is no greater abuse, in my opinion, than betraying the public trust, than public corruption, white-collar crime. And so it wasn't that I should have had an easy time or I might have regretted it. And actually the answer to that is the opposite. I have a great sense that I did what was right. I did what was right for the people of Oklahoma and for public trust. Remember, we had over 200 county commissioners involved in corruption. We had a governor go to prison. We had a member of the Oklahoma Supreme Court that didn't testify in 24 years. He didn't take a bribe, or there wasn't a year he didn't take a bribe. Yeah. This type of corruption in Oklahoma government has got to stop. And I think it's directly related to the United States Senate. People in Oklahoma want somebody they know and they trust. I don't really think they're so concerned, first off, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. They want to know that you believe in what's right, that you believe in honesty and integrity. And I've campaigned for state office, and I'm campaigning for United States Senate on a platform of honesty and integrity. Since you all have the verdict in the law books here, I'll tell you that my motto in state government is give them justice, whether they want it or not. You know, we've had some big companies that get regulated at the Corporation Commission. They want what's best for their shareholders. There are certain legal limits to which they can go. And but by the way, this is kind of a technicality. I don't think I ever worked undercover. If a policeman dresses up like a drug dealer, that's undercover. I wore a suit. I was a commissioner. They wanted to pay me and the other commissioners bribes because we were commissioners. The technical term is a covert capacity. No, I didn't tell them I was giving the money the next minute to the FBI for their evidence.
Bob Anthony, candidate for the United States Senate. We'll be right back.
Bringing out the best in each student. That is the simple goal and tradition of Heritage Hall. The focus on the individual shapes the educational experience at Heritage Hall. Each student benefits from small classes, able, dedicated teachers, a solid academic curriculum, and exceptional co-curricular programs of athletics, arts, community service, and other activities, parental involvement, personalized counseling, and the development of responsibility, integrity, and love of learning. If you want education taught with pride, then you want Heritage Hall.
The sale never ends. Saving folks money every day. John Hope Chevrolet, right here in Chickasha. GM certified, 2003 Malibu, $156 a month. A 2003 Blazer, $227 a month. A 2004 Venture, $272 a month. Or a 2003 pickup half-ton, $227. And you get free tires for life. Matter of fact, the hardest thing to do is pick your favorite color. You always get the best price. That's a promise.
Stopped at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Leaving it 4th and 7 on the Tiger 46-yard line. 38 seconds on the clock. The Tigers have no choice but to go. Wiggins in to do the kicking. Here's the snap. And the kick is away.
Watch CNN at 6 and 10 on KSBI. KSBI now offers the most trusted name in news every weekday evening at 6 and 10. Get the latest national and international news, as well as the most informative and relevant special reports. and live weather updates with meteorologist Brady Bruce. Watch CNN at 6 and 10 on KSBI.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett and Kent Myers. We're with United States Senate candidate Bob Anthony. Kent, where to now?
Bob, we've had some discussion in the first segment about your experience at the Corporation Commission. Tell our viewers how you think your experiences as an Oklahoma Corporation Commissioner will aid you if you are elected to the Senate.
Well, I think my experience at the Commission and my business experience in Oklahoma give me the best qualifications to run for the office, so I'm happy that you would ask about that. First of all, people in Oklahoma care about jobs, and the name of our agency is Corporation Commission. It's businesses that produce jobs. Also, I've served statewide. I've been for 16 years to Farm Bureau meetings, to mineral owner meetings, to rural electric co-op meetings. We've served the rural areas of the state and the metropolitan areas of the state. We've done things to help create jobs and facilitate the growth of business. Obviously, energy is very important to our state, and everyone knows that the Corporation Commission regulates and facilitates the drilling and production of all of the oil and gas wells in the state of Oklahoma. So direct relationship to jobs, I think, is critically important. But the other thing about the Corporation Commission is we're there to protect people, to serve people, the little guy, the guy that's on a fixed income, the people that are elderly, that look to state government to protect them as consumers in certain circumstances. I have worked and worked hard to make sure that their interests were protected. And that's all exactly what a United States Senator is supposed to do. He's supposed to remember the people. That's who puts him in office.
Bob, one of the social issues that's getting a lot of play in the national media is the definition of marriage. How do you stand on that?
Well, it's astonishing to me that this country for a couple of hundred years could clearly understand under the law that marriage is between one man and one woman. Now we've got some liberal activist judges in Massachusetts and people in San Francisco that are trying to change the law. First of all, if they want to change the law, they ought to go through the legislative process. We don't need judges trying to rewrite laws. If it's going to take a constitutional amendment to return the understanding of marriage to what it's always been traditionally in this country, then I would support that.
Let me, I may be sounding like I'm going back and revisiting the same issue we talked about before, but I'm not intending to. Let's talk about the results you achieved at the Corporation Commission and how those results and accomplishments stand you in good stead.
Well, I think this is directly related to running for United States Senate. People are given a position of public trust. What do? Are you supposed to go up to Washington, D.C. and rub elbows with all of the important people and think you're a big shot and forget the folks back in Oklahoma? When I've been in public service at the Corporation Commission for almost 16 years now, we've produced results. We got a $125 refund for the Southwestern Bell telephone customers. That was $170 million. That was the largest refund and rate reduction in the history of the state. There have been more refunds and rate reductions while I've been a commissioner that we worked and worked hard on. So those are results. Around Tulsa and Oklahoma City, we have the largest toll-free calling circles in the United States of America, 70 miles across for each of them. Lawton and Enid have similar programs. We have other programs for some of the rural areas of the state. Digital subscriber lines or high-speed internet now is available in over 100 towns and cities in the state of Oklahoma. That is the most effective, the strongest rollout of high-speed internet in the surrounding states, and I think among any of the 50 states. That's because the regulatory reform program, the alternative regulation for telephones in Oklahoma, which Southwestern Bell calls the Anthony Plan, negotiated that. Now get this point. Some people in government, what do? All they can do is raise taxes or extend taxes to try and do things. The things I've just mentioned were regulatory reform. They were results, but they didn't come with tax increases. And many of the things that we just talked about are directly related to jobs and even health care and education. You can't have telemedicine and distance learning and what rural areas need to participate in the modern economy without these type of information systems. So laying an infrastructure, I think, is an important responsibility of government at the state or the federal level, and those are results, and that's what I'm running on. Other people have promises, they have political endorsements, but they don't have a record of achieving things. They don't have a knowledge of Oklahoma that's a statewide knowledge and experience.
How do you tell Republican voters that they should vote for you instead of Tom Coburn or Kirk Humphreys? What separates Bob Anthony from those two?
Well, there's one thing we haven't mentioned a great deal, and that's military service. I think it's surprising. I'm the only candidate in this race who has any form of military service. I finished an 8-year service as an air defense artillery captain in the United States Army Reserve. It used to be that there were over 70% of the members of the House and the Senate that had military service after the Second World War, and now it's getting to where it might be below 30%. So I think that makes a difference. I have the strongest business education that Kent mentioned when he introduced me at the start of the program. I have the most extensive business experience, having invested with my family and our shareholders money to put in stores and to serve customers and to provide jobs all over the state. And many of those people come up to me at any meeting, and they don't care whether I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican. They know that we're somebody they trust. Business experience, military experience, statewide record of achievement and results. And I'll tell you this for the Republicans listening out there, because July 27th is the date they're going to decide who's going to get the Republican nomination. I'm the one that can win this race and keep it for the Republicans in the United States Senate. Keep this in the Republican column just like Don Nichols has done for 24 years. You can't, when was the last time a former mayor of Oklahoma City ran for U.S. Senate? He lost. And I know
can't remember it ever happening.
Well, his name was Andy Coates.
Well, he was before he was mayor.
Well, I'll have to check on that. But I think that the point is...
Andy will remember.
The point is, if you look at what do you need to be a U.S. Senator, the qualifications and the experience, and have a statewide knowledge of people that know me and I know them, that is what I think is going to translate. One other real quick point.
Sure.
Probably Brad Carson is going to be the Democratic nominee. I ran statewide in November of 2000 when I got all of those votes that set the record. He ran also. I got more votes in his congressional district than he did. So I think it shows that I can get the most number of votes statewide, and even against Brad Carson I can be competitive. And the other Republican candidates are going to be a long shot. It's going to be unknown, and I don't think it's healthy for the Republican Party to try and put its hopes under that circumstance.
We've tried to give each of the candidates an opportunity at the end really to say what's ever on their mind. 30, 45 seconds. What jumps out at you as this race unfolds?
Yeah, what should our viewers remember as a final remark?
If people remember anything about Bob Anthony, it is they know me. They know my service. They know I stand for honesty and integrity. If there's corruption in state government, I'll jump right in the middle of it and try and correct it. That's results. They know that I'm a person who believes in the public interest. So many people are all just pandering to the special interest. They believe in special deals for special people. I have fought and fought hard for the average guy, for the ratepayer, for the public, for the people of Oklahoma. And that's exactly what a United States Senator needs to do. He needs to care about the people and be faithful and loyal to them, and that's what I represent.
Bob, we appreciate you coming by and being on the verdict.
Thank you.
All right, Bob Anthony, United States Senate candidate. Kent and I'll be back with a final word after this.
All children deserve a life of hope and love, but sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens,
Each child deserves all the quality, assistance, and representation that can be offered in our legal system. For more information, call 23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children, helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
Classic hits, Cool 105.5. Playing only your favorite songs from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Love me, Cool. Classic hits, Cool 105.5.
When severe weather threatens your family's safety.
I line out to the west, so we'll be checking that.
Brady Bruce and the KSBI weather team have the most up-to-date, interactive weather technology in the market to keep you informed with pinpoint details of exactly where storms are occurring.
Very, very detailed radar picture here. No question whatsoever.
Without unnecessary hype or sensationalism.
You don't need to go up Northwest Expressway right now. Just don't do it. Keep it here on KSBI, your family's weather source.
My name is Fred Betcher. I am the founder and senior partner of the law firm of Betcher, Martin, Gene & Jackson. For over 35 years, we have provided quality legal representation to hundreds of injured Oklahomans from the convenience of 3 statewide locations. When hurt people need help, they call us, Betcher, Martin, Gene & Jackson.
Call 1-800-834-8877 for a free consultation.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers. Bob Anthony had some interesting comments.
Well, he did. He's had an interesting career in business, and just an outstanding educational background, Oklahoma roots. Had a very successful business career, then a very successful so far political career. Terrific vote getter, no doubt about that. He's number one in that category. And one thing that I think some of our viewers may want to kind of keep in mind: all of the people we bring on the show have great attributes, and we're absolutely impartial, not taking sides. But Bob Anthony has endured in the test of difficult circumstances in dealing with matters at the Corporation Commission that are always contentious, and sometimes stepping over the line into matters that are not handled properly. And he's been very strong and straightforward and steadfast in making sure that the right things are done. So our Oklahomans are very, very lucky to be able to choose from a list of candidates that all have great attributes, and we're just pleased we could bring you another one today.
As always, we'd like to pass along web information for those of you who would like more information on our guests. BobAnthony.com is how you can find more information about the U.S. Senate candidate. And don't forget that election is coming up next month. For Kent Myers, I'm Mick Cornett. We'll see you next time on The Verdict.